Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in, whether you're watching live or watching later. We are so glad that you are here and joining us on our lunch breaks and your lunch breaks to talk more about entry into Minute Maid Park, a topic I know a lot of people have been asking about, have been eager to hear about. My name is Meredith Smith. I'm here with DCE Juliana Schultz, and you'll notice we have a couple of other faces on this update live today. We're here with Mark Kiesling, Director of Youth Ministry here in St. Louis, and then Leah Abel, who's the Production and Logistics Coordinator for Stadium Events at the Gathering. So big jobs for both of them. We called in the experts for this, didn't we, Juliana?
We did. As we've established very heavily in these last ones, we are not the experts, nor are we the bosses. These are the bosses. And for this one, we had to bring in the people who actually know what they're talking about. So.
Absolutely. So we're going to stick to our 30-minute time slot today. We're going to dive into a lot of important and exciting topics. So don't worry about writing everything down or taking screenshots, because this afternoon we're going to send your primary adult leaders an email with everything that we talk about in this Facebook Live. So don't feel stressed to write and take pictures or anything like that. So we're going to get started. If you didn't know this already, this is the Gathering's first time in a baseball stadium. So this has been brand new, not only for you as adult leaders and for the youth, but for us as planners. It's been a lot of challenges, but also a lot of exciting things. So while we've been facing these challenges, we've been presented with a lot of opportunities. So Mark, why don't you talk about how we got to this part with Minute Maid Park and how we're going to talk about the entry for the Gathering?
Yeah, it's been a great journey with Minute Maid Park. It's something to get a new experience for us. Also, just awesome to be in downtown Houston and be able to be together, be able to bring people down from the Galleria, be in a downtown area like that. And we're so thankful for Minute Maid's partnership to be able to make that happen, to have truly stadium events in downtown Houston. So part of that process, certainly look into it, everything from planning and going through the pandemic and a lot of other things. One thing we always ask our stadiums about, how can we best do seating? And that's everything from a safety and process perspective, as well as how can we maybe reduce some of the stress around entering the stadium and giving you more time for dinner, especially knowing too, we're doing the comprehensive food plan. We got the early entry into Minute Maid Park to provide food options, is to hopefully make the dinner experience good as well, so that people can get fed, have some time in their community groups, and as well as be able to enjoy downtown Houston. So we're keeping a lot of those factors in mind. We're so thankful for the evaluation we get from groups over the years about how we want to make the stadium experience good on the entry, be able to find seats, sit together, and that type of thing. So we've always been open to do event seating for mass events, but it hasn't necessarily always worked in stadiums. The thing that's interesting, in COVID, stadiums like Minute Maid Park that have been more open to doing events like ours, because all of a sudden in COVID, those were places that could host graduations and other things because they could space out and have those seating opportunities. And so they were willing to work with us to have assigned seating, again, to be able to have a safe entry into Minute Maid Park and then be able to experience the mass events together. So that's really what we're hoping this will be. It's something that provides that. Know where you're going in the evening. You can have a relaxed dinner time, whether you're taking advantage of one of the things over at the convention center, or if you're in downtown Houston, hitting up one of the restaurants as well, or maybe even going outside the downtown area. But you know where you're seated. You don't have to rush back to be in your spots and have a great experience with the mass events. As well as too, if you haven't heard yet from us, Houston is hot. I don't know, all across the country right now, everyone's a little warm in a lot of places. It seems like we're triple digits here in St. Louis all week. It's gonna be hot and humid. So we don't want people sitting outside in heat either. You don't have to worry about lining up to get better seats. You can come in again when the opportunity is right, walk over, get into the air conditioning and keep cool, keep hydrated. So that's another main reason we wanted to do that. And so those are just things where we're trying to, give that great opportunity for you. So it's safe, fun, and then also so you can take care of the dinner hour. And then we just think it'll be orderly too when we think of all the staffing and volunteers and things that go into it, so that we got a good plan for you to be able to enjoy the mass events at the Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, so this is a big project, and we want to do our best to explain to you guys how this is going to work. So this is kind of the first step in us doing some of that explanation. And so we're going to have Leah walk through what we know now, how we think the process is going to work. And then we'll talk a little bit more at the end about like what you can expect to hear from us in the upcoming weeks as things get finalized. So Leah, tell us a little bit about how this is going to work for us to get our tickets into our seating.
Yeah, before I do that, can I just double down as someone who's brought youth groups to the youth gathering to say how excited I am that or how excited I would be as an adult leader to say, I know where we're sitting and exactly where we are. That's huge. I don't have to send like 4 people ahead who are like trying to get in there and get seats, and then the rest of us are trying to find them frantically while cell phones aren't working or for some reason, and people are waving. It's going to be amazing. Super excited about that. Just the kind of relaxed dinner hour is going to be huge. So super excited on your behalf. And I'm trying to remember that excitement every time I look at the spreadsheet and do the work to assign all of these seats. So we are actually using the Major League Baseball app, because that's what the Astros uses for their seating process. And so we're going in and using that app in order to do all those assignments. The Youth Ministry Office has done a really great job already of kind of looking at the space that we have available and kind of figuring out what sections we're going to seat every group in every night. And then now we're starting the detail work of the actual seat assignment. So as I mentioned, it's the Major League Baseball app that we're using to do this. The LCMS is actually setting up accounts for you for those seats. So what that means is the email address that you, for the primary adult leader, will end up being like the username kind of piece. We'll also provide you with detailed information about your password, which is based on your congregational ID. It's got some LCMS YG letters and then your congregational ID. So that will, as you go into that process, look like that. So as far as getting those seats and knowing where you're going to be, we are going to start this coming Monday. So that's the 20th of June, is when the first people will start seeing email come to their inbox that says, here's your, there's a confirmation of your seats for Saturday event. Now, I'm going to say this once, and then probably the Youth Ministry Office is going to say it 17 times to you, okay? It's going to take us a while because there are 20,000 of you, and you all need to sit, and we want to make sure everybody's in the right spot and everybody is together and all those things. So what that means is it's going to be kind of a slow roll. So if your buddy down the street, youth group, gets a primary adult leader gets an email on Monday saying these are your seats, and it's Thursday and you don't have your seats, I don't want you to freak out, okay? So it's gonna be basically Monday to Monday for all those Saturday seats. So think the 20th to the 27th roughly is what it's gonna look like for all the Saturday seating assignments. And then the week after that, so essentially that Monday the 27th through the end of that week, this last week in June, is when all the other event assignments, seating assignments will be sent to you via email. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday will come to you. On that note, you will get a separate email for each of the events. So you'll get your Saturday assignment, then later on you're going to get your Sunday assignment, then you're going to get your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday assignments. So each of those will be separate. They will only be sent to the primary adult leader. So that's kind of important. I'm going to share my screen just real quickly to show you what that email looks like that you're going to receive as we're doing some testing kind of background. You have a sense for what you're looking for and what is not spam. So when you get an email from ticketservice@astros.com, maybe you even go in right now and like add that to your importance or your priorities or however your email works. You will get an email that's going to say, thank you for your order. And it's going to have a confirmation number at the top. Say, thank you for your purchase. We didn't really purchase them, but we selected them with the Houston Astros. Here's your receipt. This one was billed to me because that's who I chose the tickets for this specific one. And they're all mobile tickets. There are no paper tickets, friends. Everything is mobile. And I'll talk more about that in just a second, so don't fear about that. And then you'll kind of scroll through that email and you'll see a few things that I want you to be aware of. It's going to show you how to get your tickets in your mobile device. Yes, you do need to download the MLB app in order to access those tickets, okay? Now, we'll talk about that a little bit more, how the Youth Ministry Office has already started thinking about how we can support folks in getting that app on their phone and how that all works. But so you'll see all those instructions there for downloading that. And here's the other cool thing. When you scroll down farther, it's gonna show you exactly what those tickets are, what those seats are. So all my seats are in section 427. I'm in row 1 with seats 1 through, 24. And also I've got a few seats in row 2 in seats 22 to 23 and 24. Now, I am going to strongly encourage you when you receive this email to print it and keep it and bring it with you. Okay. I was telling somebody just last week, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, we went to a movie. My daughter and I went to a movie, and it's one of those places where you select your seats ahead. And I get there, I'm sitting in my seat. I'm like all like laid back. And this lady comes up, she's like, I'm really sorry, but I think you're in my seat. And I was like, I don't think so. I think this is my seat. So then we looked, and of course she was right. I was in the wrong row. And so this is why it's going to be important for us to have the app and be able to open that. It's when those moments happen where maybe you're looking at your Tuesday seat and it's Sunday that you're there, and you need to be able to verify with whoever you're next to, oh, hey, actually, these are our seats for tonight. I don't foresee that getting ugly because you guys tend to be nice to each other. We've got YAV ushers who will help, as well as Minute Maid Park guest services folks will help with that. But it'll be important that you have this. So I'm gonna encourage you strongly to print this, and then also to follow the instructions that are provided here for getting the app and downloading those tickets there. Now, as we mentioned earlier, those are just gonna go to the primary adult leader. There is an option within that app to send those tickets to various people in your group. You can choose to do that, but you don't need to do that. We will not be scanning tickets in order for you to gain access. Your wristband is your access to get into the building. And so the tickets really are to say, this is your seating assignment. And if there's question about whether or not you're sitting in the right spot, this is your opportunity to be able to go, no, this is my seat, or this is where I'm supposed to be. Okay, so we're not scanning them, but we do need you to have access in case there's the question about who's sitting where. Okay, so that's that part of it. As I mentioned earlier, just say it one more time because it'll be in the email as well. But we're making the account with the email address from the primary adult leader. And then the password will be LCMS, all caps, YG, not caps, followed by your congregational ID number, okay? So just be aware of that. Just a couple other things to know. No, there are no upgrade options. I'm sorry. In order to do all the seating, the hard part about that is we really do need to like make those seating selections and leave them. We will have 6 sections. So 409, 410, and 411, as well as 427, 428, and 429. If you're looking at a picture of the seating chart somewhere on Google, those will be open seating sections. Anyone can sit there. Those seats are not assigned. So if for some reason, someone in your group feels like they're uncomfortable being that close to people, or you all want to move, those are 6 sections where you can choose to sit without, say that 7 times fast, where you can choose to sit without having being in somebody else's seat. So just an awareness factor with that. And I feel like there was one more thing I was going to tell you, Juliana.
Yeah, somebody was asking. Yeah, somebody's asking, am I going to be in the same seats every night? Am I going to be in the same seats every night? Okay.
You are not. So this is the other beautiful thing. Okay. 2 things I want you to know. First of all, I said I was looking earlier at the seating chart thing that I get to use, and it shows like the bird's eye view, like from that seat, like a picture of what the field looks like. Literally every person in this event, well, I'll take this back. 80% of the people at US Bank Stadium were farther away than what 100% of the people will be at Minute Maid Park. Like you really are much closer to the stage, which is awesome. You will not be in the same seat every night. So each of the 5 events, you'll be in 5 different places, and we are going to do our best to kind of move folks around. So here's my basic guess. One night, you're going to really love your seats. One night, you may be like, yeah, these aren't the greatest seats, but they're fine. And then your other nights, they might be kind of somewhere in between. So it really does give a chance for everybody to have, some kind of premium seats. But I really do mean this. I'm not just, blowing fluff here. There really are all good seats. There's no spot where I'm kind of like, man, I hope I don't have to sit there. So that's kind of some good news. One other piece I'll mention kind of while you're looking at questions there, Juliana, is that there are a few folks out there we know we're going to encounter as we are doing this entry for all these seat assignments who maybe already have an account with Major League Baseball connected to that email address. And we will contact you if that's the case. We're going to kind of keep a running list of those, and we'll reach out and say, hey, we need access to your account. We've got a couple ways you can do that, either by giving us a different email address or by changing your password temporarily, something like that. So we'll reach out to you to work through that with you.
Yeah.
To add on to, Leah's talking about premium seating, that again, if you did a Hall A food event, that you will have a section that you'll sit in for that evening that you're doing Hall A, that'll be premium seating. And then also the day that your district does their district event, whether you go to the event or not, will be another day that you kind of have premium seating, that we're going to be sitting by district those nights. So even if you didn't register, that you'll be connected with your district for that evening. For those of you like in North and South Wisconsin that are doing their event early, we have a day that will be slotted for you. So again, you'll be in a specific section as a district for those times as well.
Yeah, people are getting, I think we kind of got that, which, yeah, if you already have the ballpark app, we have some ways to get that to you, so you don't have to like re-download it or anything like that, be able to navigate that. Meredith, are you seeing other questions that we haven't got to?
I see a lot of people excited about this, Leah. So I know that you and your team have worked really hard on this. So seeing a lot of excitement that you guys are ready to get in those assigned seats and not have to stand out in the Houston heat. You get to enjoy dinner, do that community group time together. So that makes it exciting for us at least.
Yeah. Somebody did point out, yes, if you do not have the app, don't run out and get it. Wait until you have the email, right? So if you do not currently have this app, please do not go sign up right now. Wait until you get your first email. Once you have that first email with your account login that Leah showed you what that's going to look like, then you can go download, log in, and all of that. I mean, part of the great thing about this is, it's going to take us a little while to get that first set of groups in, but once we get towards the end of the month, you'll start getting all of your tickets. And then by the time you're getting ready to travel, you should be able to look at on that app and have all of the tickets for all, and have emails and tickets for all 5 of the stadium events. So that'll be nice. So, one of the things that we did, sorry, Meredith, did you see a question?
Yeah. Leah, I just see a question. I know that we've had a couple of congregations actually register together. Will they be sitting together? Will they get seats together? Or will they be in separate places?
I'm going to toss that one to Mark because Mark, I can't remember what we decided. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're going to do our best to seat you connected that way. So especially obviously on the district night, I'm guessing most of you, if you're traveling together, you're probably in the same district. You'll at least have that night where you'll be close to each other in the same section. But we'll do our best to keep you connected throughout the seating process. Again, it may not be next to each other, but at least close. Just going to kind of depend on what section you're in maybe that night in terms of whether the seats actually work out to be able to be connected or not. But we'll do our best to do that.
And just a reminder, you can always go to the open seating area if you really want to sit together and you didn't get seats next to a church. You can always go to one of those open seating areas. We're also, I see somebody asking about Team Flex coming to mass events. We're also going to have some volunteer seating areas for any of the volunteers that are watching this now or later.
Yeah, so there won't be assignments for them. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, so you won't get ticket assignments if you're like Team Flex or something, or volunteer, or you won't get here's your seating assignment because you're just going to sit in those sections that are reserved for you.
Yeah. We're not going to get into it too heavily for this. Somebody did ask. Yes, the shuttles will be easy to find. We will tell you where to go to get your shuttles back to the gallery at a Minute Maid. That will not be a problem for you to be able to locate that. I did want to mention that if you get your emails for whatever reason, we're going to be sending out a video that's a step-by-step of how to get your tickets onto your app. We'll be sending you all that information, so it should be really simple for you to be able to get from the email to the app to what you're going to need in the stadium. But if you're not tech savvy, that's not something you're into. One, you can certainly use the email address and the login to put it on somebody else's phone who might be more tech savvy. You can definitely do that. Or when you come to do registration, you're also going to go to orientation. Everybody's going to go to orientation, right? Everybody's going to go to orientation, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we will also have on Saturday specifically, we will have some people outside of orientation who will be able to kind of troubleshoot with you. So if you need to have somebody help troubleshoot, make sure that you have that all right. And we'll have people at Minute Maid Stadium Saturday night to help you troubleshoot those things if you need to. So we are planning for all those people who go, I don't know, something went wrong, I couldn't, right? Like if you're getting your email with your tickets, we'll be able to manage that on site. Now, hopefully you'll be able to do that ahead of time, but just as a safety, as a safety net for people who maybe don't have, up-to-date smartphones or anything like that, like we'll be able to navigate that with you.
Leah, one more time, could you tell us the open seating sections?
I sure can. It's 409, 410, 411, as well as 427, 428, and 429. And there'll be big signs up too next to those sections that say that they're open seating.
And we'll have those printed in the guidebook for you guys, or you can stop and ask at one of the info booths, either at the convention center or ask a volunteer that you see at Minute Maid Park, and they'll be able to point you in those directions. And they'll be able to help you find your seats that you have on the app. or print it out. So look for those blue shirts, for those orange shirts, and they'll be willing to help you guys out as much as they can.
Great. I'm not seeing anything. So while we have Leah, while we have the experts here, I want you to double check me because I'm going to give some other notes for Minute Maid Park, right? So she's right here to correct me when I say something that's wrong, which doesn't always happen. Usually I have to go back to my cubicle and look for an email, right? So things, there is a list of things that you can and cannot bring into the stadium that is in the, I don't know what, is it an online handbook? Is that what we're calling it?
It is the pre-event guide.
Right, the pre-event guide that is up on the website. A couple of things to note there: gathering backpacks are okay to bring in. Outside backpacks will have a higher chance of being searched. Right, we know that with security, any backpack may be searched, but higher probability if you have an outside backpack. But backpacks will be able to come into the stadium. So do that. You can bring in your reusable water bottles. We strongly recommend that they be plastic, right? That is what we need them to be, and they need to be empty when you're coming in. We will have filling stations available on the concourses. We'll tell you where they're at, but there will be filling stations once you get inside, but they need to be empty coming into the stadium. You can also bring one sealed water bottle, disposable water bottle per person. Look at that nodding. I'm doing it right. Yay. Okay. Right. So if you want to bring in those water bottles, one per person, and they need to be sealed still. And if you registered for early access to get to the food vendors, the list of the vendors that will be open is available to you now if you want to look at that. That does not necessarily have a special section for seating if you get in early for food for Minute Maid, but you'll have access to get to that seating a little early and a little leisure to wander around there. So just some other things there. Meredith, I didn't look. Any other questions about coming into Minute Maid?
Yeah, somebody's asking if they can bring a camelback like that you would put into a hiking bag.
Well, it has to be
empty. I don't see why not, but it would have to be empty.
It has to be empty. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Saw somebody ask if they can bring a soda in, a sealed soda. You cannot bring a sealed soda, has to be a sealed water bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did see somebody.
They would be happy to sell you one inside of Minute Maid Park. Or ice cream. Guys, there's like multiple ice cream carts. I'm just letting you know. It's gonna be
I already had my eyes on some like nacho carts. There were some really good nacho listings on there.
Yeah. And I will say, sometimes you go and it's like bad, like, because I know I've eaten at Minute Maid now a couple times having been there, and like even like their chicken sandwiches like are pretty legit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it's not Chick-fil-A, but well, actually they have Chick-fil-A in Minute Maid, but not on Sunday. So lame. What can I say? But seriously, it's pretty legit food. I'm just gonna say it's good. Yes, it's ballpark food, but it's good. It's solid stuff.
Leah, somebody's asking pins on backpacks. We might not know this right now, so I'm just going to throw it at you. How are pins looking in for backpacks?
Yeah, we're really not concerned about that. We had that when we were at Minute Maid, at US Bank in Minneapolis a little bit, and it was like a whole like a rigmarole of things and taking them off and whatnot. And having talked with our folks at Minute Maid Park, we're really not concerned about that. So don't feel like you need to take them all off or get rid of them in order to enter. We don't foresee that being a big issue.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. We're not losing weight at anyone. I mean, you're eating the same food as teenagers, right? I feel like it balances out at some level, right? Like you eat a lot of restaurant food, but also you're walking a lot. There's a lot of walking. And so, yeah, it all kind of balances out, right? In the end.
And I think it's worth noting, I know that there are a number of groups that are coming in for the early entry to Minute Maid Park at 6:30, but those concession stands will be open at 7:30 when general entry starts. So you will have an hour before mass event if you want to get dessert after dinner, or if you want to make plans to eat dinner in the stadium. Those concessions will be open for the whole general audience for the gathering.
Yeah.
And I believe we do still have some space left. If you haven't signed up to do early entry and want to, we do have some space left Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, for folks who want to come in early. Again, I mean, it's ballpark food, but it's good options. There's a good number of options. And then you're there to find your seats. So I would encourage you to think about that. And then it gets you in a little early to kind of take your time.
And for those who are looking for the vendors that we have listed, I see a couple people asking. We did put the list on the LCMS Youth Ministry group. If you want to go back and search for those menu options at Minute Maid Park, you can go through and look through that and see if there's anything that you guys are hoping to get or wanting to get or making plans to get. You can kind of plan around. I know there's some dietary issues or restrictions, so it's worth looking at the list to see if there's maybe anything that you can or cannot eat at the stadium.
Yeah, because there's the list of vendors is the only vendors that will be open. Somebody just asked if they open for Mass Event Plus. They close it at 8:30, correct? Yeah, so they're not open afterwards. We will talk more next Thursday when we see you about making sure that a lot of these other things that we're seeing and as much of more of the food stuff that we can get to you. We know that there's still some food information in terms of like the food trucks and who's going to be available that we're still hoping to get out and that kind of thing. So we just wanted to make sure so that we had the first round of ticket information out to you guys so that when you start to get these emails, don't delete them. They are not spam. They are important, that you can be looking for them because they're not coming from us, and begin to think about this process. And like I said, we're going to be talking more in the upcoming weeks and coach you through as much of this as we possibly can to be able to be prepared for the gathering.
Great. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Mark and Leah, for helping be the experts in this area of planning for us, for me and Juliana. We're excited to send all this stuff out. And like I mentioned earlier, we are going to be sending everything that we talked about in this live in an email to our pals later this afternoon so you can reread or rewatch this video. Make plans to join Juliana and I. We won't have special guests next week, but we will be back on the 23rd for another final Gathering Update Live to go over some of those final details as you make your final preparations to come to Houston. In the meantime, we are continually praying for you and your youth as you make those final preparations to celebrate in all things in Houston in just a few short weeks. We will stay connected with you on the LCMS Youth Ministry Group, or we will see you next week at the Gathering Update Live.